So today I woke up, that feeling of sadness, like a deep kind of sadness that I didn't really know where it came from. I had been working through some stuff since I went back to the UK for 6 weeks unexpectedly. And so I think some of that sadness is, it wasn't just about looking after my dad, getting my dad into a home. There was more about some endings, what needed to end, old friendships that I haven't really had much contact with have come up, and I've had to block some people because I realized that I was being drawn back into some very 11-year-old, 15-year-old stuff for people that I don't have any contact with and haven't had for decades. And it made me realize how quickly those old patterns of childhood can be triggered. And when I actually blocked these people on my social media, I felt frightened. I felt that fear of doing something wrong as a child. And I'm literally only putting boundaries up. I mean, my social media is my work, and I choose who looks at my social media. Anyway, I think that might have triggered it. But then I went to my oracle cards, which I sometimes do just for journaling with. And this pack is really nice. It's called the Earth Warrior Oracle, and it was gifted to me by my assistant Sasha, and I really like it. It's great for practitioners. It's very in-depth and really good. And so I picked a card today that I pick all the time, and so I know it's, this message I really have to get sorted, and it's called the Star of Venus. I'll just read the tiny bit at the beginning. So the Star of Venus supports an inner shift to higher consciousness. Whether or not you consider yourself, and this is the key, to be financially skillful, part of your sacred power and purpose includes the healing of economic and financial matters in your own life and the world. Well, this is exactly what's been in my mind for the last, for years, but it's really come to the top of my mind because what I've seen in the work that I've been doing with women over the last 10 years is that women run with the work. Once they get the sort of roadmap for the feminine psyche going through perimenopause, and they see that it's a journey inwards and that it is empowering and it is healing and it is inspiring and creative, then they run with it. Of course, who wouldn't? And what I see happening next, and this is becoming more and more obvious to me and more important that we work on it, is that women then are inspired to share themselves with the world, with their communities, to share their newfound voice, their sovereign woman, or their wise woman self, or their sovereign woman self. And what's the block? The block is making that shift from being inspired to being able to support themselves and be financially independent and abundant in sharing their soul's purpose with the world. Yes, women can be abundant by working for big companies and doing the work they've always done, but lots of women don't want to do that anymore. They want to do their work. They want to share their work with the world. All women turn around and they feel inspired and they're creative, but they're still dependent on their partners. And making that leap towards being an independent woman who can run her business, her spiritual business, her soul's purpose business, as well as anyone else in the world can, that's the leap. And that's really what I'm working on in my own journey. I make enough to do payroll for the 2 people that I employ and myself. I make enough to get by every month, but it needs to go to the next level. And I'm really working on it with a mentor, but it's what I also want to teach women. So that's where I'm at. So the last bit of my card today, or the top bit of it, is you are meant to experience abundance, creating and sharing prosperity from a place of inner spiritual security. Keyword, security. A healing liberation from poverty consciousness allows the universe to work through you more easily without the obstruction of negative conditioning. And that's also a point, is that I think, going back to what this feeling of waking up very sort of sad and nervous and having to sort of put some boundaries towards these archaic relationships from childhood that suddenly sort of came out of the cobwebs, is that feeling I got when I put that boundaries is one of those feelings of, you know, if I make boundaries, if I put my needs first, then I'm unsafe. And so that definitely plays out in my acceptance of abundance in my life as well. Our spiritual life and our business lives are, you can't really take them apart, but we have to work on both of them simultaneously. You know, my mentor says if you read a spiritual book, then the next book you read should be a business book, and so forth. Okay, lots of love.